What's up, boys? It's Nick from Team Table 501. I'm the king of the scrubs, and today I'm going to tell you how I became king of the scrubs by topping the Garden City Regional with Domain Monarchs. This is a bit of a strategy video. It's a bit of I don't know, it's a bit of everything. I just felt like making it, so let's start about the preparation. Like I stated in previous videos, I didn't have a deck up until that event. I just heard that it was happening, and the only deck I had built was a half-built Draco Pal deck. It was missing a bunch of extra deck cards. It had no staples in it. It was basically just go second, board wipe, win. Wasn't really much of a deck, to be completely honest with you. It was a fun deck, and it was a deck that I liked, but it wasn't necessarily a good deck. So I started rolling around with ideas. Play Despots, play Cubics, play Barrier Stun, Chain Burn. And I played all these decks for, 2 weeks each. I think Cubics I played for like 3 days, and then I realized the deck was just pure garbage. But eventually, I stumbled upon a Domain Monarch list that I really liked. And there were a few cards that I didn't own and I wanted to change out because I still had the entire Monarch deck from full power. The only thing it was missing was the Vanity's Fiends and the Maxis. So I just ordered those. I got them shipped here. I got my Maxis the day before the regional, and that was the day that they went to 1. I shed a tear. But anyway, so I spent all Friday and some of Saturday morning just testing, just nonstop grind. Once I got off of practice, and I went to my F&M to go blow off some steam, I came back and I played the deck for 6 hours probably. I got home a little earlier than I imagined, and that was about it. I got there super early. I stopped by some Tim Hortons to go get some breakfast, picked up a coffee, and there I was. I was just waiting outside. It was 7:30 in the morning, and a couple of guys from my locals were there, so we were just hanging out. We were talking about the format, about the ban list, usual stuff. And that's one thing that I encourage you guys to do and not do. Like, I know once you get there, you're super excited, you're ready to play, but at the same time, conserve yourself, because the minute I got home from the regional, I called my buddy on Skype and we just started playing Magic. Like, you are going to be done. You don't want to see another card. You don't want to see another sleeve. You don't want to see another game. You just want to go do anything else. And so, eventually I just started talking to a bunch of guys online about, like, life stuff, about where they live, where they go to locals, Keep it somewhat Yu-Gi-Oh! Related, but at the same time, tone it back, because at the end of the day, you still have 8 to 9 rounds of card games left to play. If you're playing the maximum number of games, you're going to play 27 games in that entire day, and they last 45 minutes each. Oh, God, I don't even know. Probably 7-8 hours. Like, I'll do the math later, but if I had to guess off the top of my head, that's at least 8 hours. Like, that's a full-time job. And doing that back to back to back to back it's just tiring, But this is where the preparation comes in, because Monarchs play. I knew I was playing Monarchs, so I just started play testing the deck, and I kept getting into grind games. 30-40 minute just grind matches on DB and YGO Pro, and eventually I was just like, how can I end this quicker? So eventually, how that works is you can't just tell your opponent to play faster, because it doesn't solve the problem. Sometimes you end in a board state that's complicated, and you need to sit down, analyze all the resources, what could your opponent's back row be, and just take a minute and think. But how you can play faster is learn the combos in your deck. If you can finish your turn in a minute or so, you can just do your play and pass. It doesn't take you 10 minutes to figure it out because it's your first time picking up the deck. There. Now, I'm not saying that it's that simple. There are some decks like Ritual Beast, or Synchrons, or what else? Like 60 card decks right now because of lawn mowing, When you grass for 20, you need to sit down and analyze, okay, what did I mill, what's in my hand, what's left in my deck, etc. But say you're playing a Monarch deck. There's not much strategy to that deck. You make your turn 1 play and you go. You summon your Monarch, you send your 2, you banish your Pantheism, you either get the Domain or March, whichever one you're missing, and you pass, and you're done. Your turn should take 60 seconds. If they have hand traps, 45 seconds. Like, the only times your turn take longer than that is then when you're in the late game. You know, because sometimes the game ends on turn 2. You know, sometimes you're 5 minutes into a round, you're already on game 3. You know, like that's what happened to me at the regional in round 2. You know, 5 minutes into the match, we were already on game 3. You know, game 1, I had just solidly won, in game 2, or I might have 2-0 that guy, but it was one of the matches. 5 minutes into the round, my buddy was done, and he comes to me, he says, "What game are you on?" I'm like, "We're on game 3." He's like, "Really? Really? Like, there's still 35 minutes left on the round. Like, whatever." But you know, if you know what your deck does, and you know, excuse me, if you know the main combos, you can end your turn rather quickly, let your opponent take their turn. And then if they're taking longer than, say, 3 to 5 minutes, which is usually how long it takes to complete a turn in a standard deck in a standard format, you can call Judge for slow play. Or you can ask them, "Hey, can you hurry it along?" Try not to be too much of a dick. Just ask, "Hey, can you hurry up a little bit?" And if they're still playing slowly and they're not making a move, that's when you call a Judge. It's very easy to separate slow play and thinking. You know, when your opponent is just, if they're just sitting there shuffling their cards, and let's say they have 2 cards in hand, right? And they have very few cards in grave, nothing's banished, they have no cards on field. What could they be thinking about? And they just sit there like this, and they stare at you, shuffling cards. And then eventually, after 3 minutes, they just pass turn without doing anything. Or they say set 1, go, and you're sitting there like it took you 3 minutes to figure that out. So, there's that. Another thing is the mental game. You need to go in there with the right attitude. Now, I am incredibly pessimistic, obviously. That's just who I am as a person. But when I knew that the regional was happening, I just had to sit down with myself and be like, alright, the time for fucking around is done. It is time to get serious. It's time to play. You know? You just need to go in there and be like, I can do this. I can go 7-2 today. No problem. I can do it blindfolded. And you know, when you start off a regional 3-0, it's really easy, or 2-0 or 3-0, you easily can just sit there and be like, yep, that's how we starting it, boys. That's how we doing it. You know, sure, things can derail really fast, but when things start derailing, as long as you just don't sit there and think, this is how my regional is ending, which is what I thought for a while, but eventually when I started winning match after match after match, you got to get yourself back into, I'm still X2 when it's round 8, you know? Like, it's time to play. Like, it is time to do this. And, you know, you put everything aside. Don't worry about the fact that your invite's on the line. Just worry about what is happening. The last thing on your mind is your invite's on the line. The first thing on your mind is, how do I win this game? How do I get out of the situation I'm in? You know, how do I out this board with the cards I have access to? Let's see, what else is there to really talk about? Here's another thing. Don't drink caffeine. And I know I just said at 7:30 in the morning I was drinking coffee, but after the regional starts, I don't know, let's just say you're playing round 1, right? And you're side decking for game 3. And let's say you're parched. Don't go into your bag and grab that monster. Don't go into that bag and grab a Pepsi. Grab a bottle of water. Water refreshes you. It's obviously good for you. And it helps you think. You know, you're not under that, you know, that energy kick or the sugar rush or whatever. You're not going to go high and then low. You're going to stay right there in the middle where you know you have enough energy, you're just not thinking about it. And that's a lot of it. Don't think about it. Like, that's it. Don't worry about the fact that you're at a regional with like 400 players. Don't worry about the fact that Jeff Jones is sitting right next to you watching you play. Don't worry about the fact there may be cameras on you. Just don't worry about it. You know, even when me and the squad filmed matches a while ago, you know, we didn't think about the fact there was a camera pointed at us. We didn't worry about the fact that there was going to possibly be 100 people watching it. You know, we were just playing to have some fun and do a little bit of commentary for you guys. Like, we're just trying to be helpful. So, excuse me. But yeah, a lot of it is mental. Some of it is skill, I'm not gonna lie, and some of it's luck, I'm not gonna lie. But it's about taking the factors and just utilizing them to your advantage. You know, analytical skills, mathematical skills, you know, just testing. Like, analyze the format, do the hypergeometric calculations on your deck. That's what I did with Monarch. Sure, it was boring, it was tiring, and after 3 hours of just numbers, you want to give up, but you need to do it. Test out different cards. And that's another thing. As stupid as it sounds, test. Even if it's just find the most competitive locals you can find and just play there as often as you can go. That's what I did for my Monarchs. You know? Once I had it, I play tested. Now, sure, I only had it for a couple of days, but I found some highly competitive DB and YGO players, YGO Pro players, playing against them and just grinded. You know, once you know the date of a regional, like I know the date of my upcoming regional. Now, sure, I already have my invite, so it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna go. I want to have some fun. You know, maybe I can be a bit of a dick. You know, because that's always fun, trolling someone at round 9 of a regional where you can be like, hey, I don't have my invite already, so we have to play it out. And then you just be like, no, JK, I got my invite. Good job, man. Because that's what the guy at round 9 did to me. So I'm trying to share the love, you know? And, let's see. What other important things did I do to top? So here's the thing. This is super important. Don't play the best deck. Holy shit. Okay? Don't play the best deck, especially if you haven't tested. People are going to know that you have side deck for it, you know, because if you're not side decking for the best deck, then you are either not being competitive or you're doing it wrong. And that's just a fact. That's a whole nother debate. But anyway, Zodiac, Paleozoic, Infernoid, and let's put Invoked variants in there. Those are the 4 best decks of the format, right? If you're not siding for all 4 of them, you're doing it wrong. Now, sure, you may side for Paleo more than Zoo because your deck already has a highly advantage, you know, a better Zoo matchup, or you may be siding more for Infernoid because you know Infernoid's a weak matchup, but at least you have cards and flexibility in your side deck slots for every individual matchup that you may play, and you know? That Lancia in your side deck that you have for Infernoid is good against this fucking Ritual Beast player playing at round 2 because he got lucky round 1 playing against fucking Rogue. Or he played the fucking Ritual Beast mirror round 1 or some shit, I don't know. But you can use it to stop their plays from advancing. So, utilizing your cards and having effective card choices is also super important. Same thing. When you're not playing the best deck, it is so much easier to have effective card choices. Now, sure, we all know the standard Zoo list. I could read you a Zoo deck list right now off the top of my head. I'm not going to do it, but I can do it. Everyone basically knows the Zoo list at this point. Everyone knows the Black Sheep combo that draws 5 cards. I know the Black Sheep combo that draws 7 cards once we get Leica and stuff. But anyway, when you're playing a rogue deck like my Monarchs, okay, you take your core, you play 3 of all the good cards, because if you're not playing 3 of your good cards, you're doing it wrong. Then you play all your limited cards. So let's see, 3 Erebus, 3 Domain, 3 Tenacity, 3 Return, 3 Prime. 15 cards. Okay, done. Those have to be in the deck. Now on to the limited cards. Aether, Pantheism, Stormforth, Maxi. Okay, that's 4 cards. 19. You got 20 slots. You can mix around with your 2-ofs and your 3-ofs. Like, you have personal preference of a 2-of or a 1-of, but you start getting there. It's like, okay, I have a strategy now. What do I do with my side deck? You know, Lancias for Infernoid. I have Chain Disappearance for Zoo. I've got Twin Twisters for Paleo. Jinzos and stuff. Or Denkos. Or I have the Photon Cerebus. Or whatever you want, right? That is, like, the most important thing. Now, sure, to give yourself a higher percentage of topping, playing the best deck gives you a much more, you know, gives you the statistical advantage. But if you haven't played, just play a deck that you know and put in effective card choices. As much as you hate it, if you put Vanity's Fiend in your Traptrix deck, and you summon it against a Zoo player, and you have ways of protecting that Vanity's Fiend, you probably just win. Because what's the Zoo player going to do? Their entire deck is around special summoning. When they go to Whiptail, their Trident, and attack, you flip Mirror Force. Or you're storming them. when they go to pop the vanity screen, you break through, or you Veiler, or whatever else. So that's basically it. I just wanted to talk to you guys honestly about what to do. How I topped with Monarchs and stuff. So anyway, I'm King of the Scrubs. Get good, and I'll see you guys next time.